right, Vanessa. May 3rd, 2009, Monte Carlo. You defeat Randy Dorfman to win the EPT High Roller Championship. Take home over $900,000. Tell me about that win.
Well, that was a really emotional day for me. It's my first major title, as far as like a big EPT, WPT, WSOP win. And even more importantly, I was really proud of the quality of field that I managed to overcome in that event. I think basically throughout the entire event, we had, you could probably average like 30 million in earnings on any random table. It was, just every big name that happened to be in Europe at the time for the Monte Carlo event played the high roller event. And yeah, so it was and it was also my biggest monetary win, edging out, my biggest win before that was like for $701,000 for second place in the Poker Stars W Coupe main event in 2007. So beat that out. Not yet over $1 million in earnings. I need to still, that's my next goal, is to win a tournament which is more than $1 million for first.
Well, you're getting there this year.
But it was close. Yeah, it was really exciting and brought my earnings up over $3 million, and that was good. So
where does that rank among your accomplishments? Is it at the top right now?
Yeah, I'd say right now that's for sure, definitely. I mean, monetarily, prestige, it's pretty much it's the thing about which I'm most proud so far in my poker accomplishments.
All right, let's go back to life before poker. Born on February 5th, 1983 in New York, right? But I read that you grew up, part of your childhood was in France.
Yeah, actually, I was born in New York, but we quickly moved over to France, and I lived there till I was 10. So I actually went to elementary school at L'École Trilingue, which is a trilingual school in Paris, where we spoke German, French, and English in classes. And actually, my French was better than my English until I moved back to the States when I was 10. I actually had to take some speech therapy classes to get rid of my French accent, and now it's flip-flopped, and when I speak French, I have an American accent.
Right. What was it like growing up overseas?
I think I'm really lucky that, I grew up with dual cultures and the ability to, be a dual citizen and see a lot of the world and experience the French culture is really different from the American culture all the way around. There's just so many differences, and growing up that way afforded me the opportunity to sort of have expanded horizons, realize that life around the world is lived differently. And I'm grateful for that experience. And, it also taught me, though, that I really do love America.
Yeah?
When I moved here, I quickly realized how much more fun I had, with life in America. I think that, I'm just a lot more American at heart.
Yeah, so you'll never live in France again, probably.
I probably wouldn't be a full-time French resident. It's not that, I don't like it there. I love to vacation there. I just prefer to live in the U.S.
All right, so you moved back to the States around 10, right? What I noticed from my research is not only were you a great student, but you were probably the busiest teenager in the world, it seems like.
I think that was my mom's strategy growing up. She always said that, I have two sisters, by the way, that she said that her strategy to keep the three of us out of trouble was to just keep us so busy that at the end of the night we'd be too exhausted to want to go out and do anything bad.
Right.
So it's pretty much her fault. The strategy worked. We were really busy kids, involved in a lot of clubs and sports and debate for me. And so it was a busy girl and too exhausted to get in any trouble.
Yeah, it said National Honor Society, French Honor Society, sports, debate, environmental club. It goes on and on and on and on. Did you have the desire to be a part of all of that, or was it just your mom?
I don't know. I was always, a really outgoing girl, and I always had friends that were in different groups. And so I found myself being pulled in a lot of different directions during high school and college. And, it's sort of an element of my personality that persists today. You'll see, I have a very diverse group of friends, and I'm always doing a diverse group of activities from, you can catch me taking flying lessons to learning how to play Italian to playing rock band to, I just have a diverse set of interests, and I like to pursue them all. So why choose?
Right, makes sense. All right, so you go on to Duke University, finish in 2.5 years, and then you attend University of Miami Law School. That's when you started playing live poker, right?
Yep. Yeah, I wasn't 21 until that point, so, yeah.
Okay. So, was it Seminole Hard Rock Casino? Is that where it all started?
Yeah, it's in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and it's an Indian reservation casino, and I used to play the sit-and-goes there.
Yeah. What were those early games like for you?
That was where I first began realizing the importance of tells. Obviously, I was playing on the internet until that point, and tells aren't really a part of internet play. And And so I began to realize that if I went on Friday and Saturday nights when guys were, drinking some beers while they were playing, that they would really loosen up and not be on guard so much about giving off tells. And I realized the importance of careful observation at the table. And so, I didn't, of course, sit down and win right away. Like everyone, you sit down and you lose right away, and then you figure it out and start winning. And I was consistently doing well, making $1,000, $2,000 on weekends during law school, which at that time was, still is. It's a lot of money, especially for a law school student, and afforded me the luxury of being able to travel on weekends and go give the World Series of Poker circuit events a go every once in a while.
Well, how tough was it to balance school and poker?
Well, during exams it can be difficult, but the way law school works is, your whole grade's on the exam. So during the rest of the semester, it's up to you to balance how much you need to actually go to class.
Right.
I'm the kind of person who I learn much better. I'm self-taught. Like, give me a textbook and I can learn it much more easily than learning it from a professor.
Okay.
So I found that attendance was like optional, kind of, or maybe that was just me deluding myself into thinking that. And so I wasn't exactly the most attendant student in law school, but I did well in the exams and I balanced it well. I have a good GPA in law school, and I probably could have had better GPA if I were just doing law school, but then I wouldn't be here. So I'm happy with the choices that I made.
Exactly. Okay, we have to talk about the 2006 WPT Championship. You flew straight from law school to Las Vegas. You get to the Bellagio, like 3 hours into the tournament, and then you end up making it all the way to the final table to finish 7th. Tell me about that experience.
Well, that was like, what's the word I'm looking for? It was like at the same time awesome as extremely disappointing. It was the double-edged sword. It was, I was very strategic about the way I played that event. First of all, at that point in my career, to play a $25,000 event didn't make any sense bankroll-wise. So I actually had planned this months ahead, selling shares of myself, like $100 shares to my law school mates, friends, and family, so that I could play in this event. And I'd actually studied the structure. And then when I realized that I actually had a law school exam on the same day, I had to make all the logistics work and calculate how much I would likely blind off and whether or not it was still reasonable to play. And and I had a whole plan. And it was just, I guess, I was extremely lucky that my plan, every single part of it worked out perfectly. And, I sat down, I soon doubled up, and then I coasted on my big stack all the way to the final table. And then it was all looking great. It even looked good until, I shoved all in over a raise, middle position raise. I pushed all in with ace-king, got called, and he flips over ace-jack. It's still looking good. It's looking like I'm going to have a real chance at the TV final table. The flop clears. Everything's good. Jack on the turn. And that was disappointing. And, at that point in my career, it felt like the world was tumbling apart. But I soon realized that that's just the way poker is. And it's a numbers game. And the longer you keep plugging away at it, you'll get the good results. And everything will come in due time.
Well, that event, it kind of made you like an overnight celebrity. Everyone knew who you were after that. Did you feel like that run would impact your life so much?
Coming into it, you can't reasonably expect to do that kind of, so I never really, no, I didn't. At that point, the day that I started playing that event, I was still 100% planning on being a lawyer in New York City, and so, it wasn't until after that event that I began to realize, well, maybe poker could be a career for me, and then a couple days later, I get a phone call from, Poker Stars, and get an offer there, and then I began to really realize that poker could be a career choice for me, and I guess I was very fortunate that when I took a shot, it really worked out.
Also, a guy named Chad Brown finished 9th in the WPT Championship.
A guy named Chad Brown.
Were there sparks immediately, or was he just another opponent at that time?
Well, I was really, really focused when I was playing the tournament. So when I came in on, I think it was day 3 or 4, he was going to be at my table. And I researched that morning, every single morning, in fact, the players that were going to be at my table. Wow. And so I had some research on Chad, and I think I remember seeing that he had a lot of stud results, and I had him classified as probably plays by the math, and a very solid all-around player. And I'm sure I had my notes on him, and so it wasn't. In the beginning, it was all business, and then we were seated at the same table, and our table broke, and someone dropped their chips all over the floor, and so this